He was young, fit, healthy and doing the job he'd always dreamed of. At the age of 21, Dez Giraldi was a professional footballer and many would say had everything to live for. But after a move to play in Italy at just 18 and injury problems during a return to Adelaide 2 years later, the Wollongong-born forward began to suffer.
I just felt unmotivated. I was always angry and I suppose in a sense sad to be away. Always felt like I wanted to just jump on a plane and go home, be with my family.
Dizzy spells and chest pains followed, only adding to the footballer's nightmare.
I was worried that I would have a heart attack out on the training pitch. Every time I exerted myself, my heart would start pounding harder than what it normally would. We went over to Etihad to play Melbourne Victory, and I played that game, started that game, and we were 2-0 up at half time. And I had these heart palpitations at half time, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm going to have a heart attack when I go back out here. And it was really the first time that I was affected by it, and that's really where it all started and where I became aware of exactly what was going on.
Dez sought medical help and was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, but not fully understanding the illness and a lack of support meant he had to give up the professional game.
Had I been explained exactly what this illness was and how it works and how it affects the body then, and whilst I was going through those symptoms, things may have been different.
It wasn't until he read a book on depression which finally helped him overcome his issues.
It literally come down on me like a pile of bricks. That book that I read was just a massive relief, a slap in the face at the same time. Within the space of 2 hours, I just summed up the past 4 years of my life.
Dez is joining Sydney FC and 2 former state premiers to help launch their Beyond Blue partnership and raise awareness of the problems.
If you'd asked me 10 years ago what was the most important thing in my life, I would have said my wife and my children. If you were to ask me today, I would say my own health. Because I've come to realise in our work with Beyond Blue that we can't perform as well as we want to. We can't discharge our responsibilities to my wife, to my children, to my grandchildren, unless I'm as fit as possible. And that also applies to sports people.
The expectation of your peers or fans can be unreal and can have quite debilitating impacts on your health. So this is an important partnership for us and for Sydney FC, and I congratulate them for taking this initiative.
The clubs need to take responsibility for this, and if Sydney FC is going to take that step to take this issue seriously, then I think it's massive for the game and it's massive for Sydney FC.
I think that the fact that we've given our biggest game of the year the naming rights of the Melbourne Victory Sydney FC game, the Beyond Blue Cup, highlights how important we believe it is to raise awareness for depression and anxiety in men, and how important it is for this partnership to be successful.
Today, Dez is happily married and running a fruit wholesale store in Wollongong.
I feel fantastic now. I feel like I'm back to my old self again. I've been married now for 6 months. I found a beautiful girl 3.5 years ago, and I had to change my lifestyle because obviously I wasn't a professional footballer anymore. And once I did so, I became comfortable with who I was, comfortable with where I was at, and I feel fantastic. I feel comfortable with who I am.
And he has this message for anyone in a similar position as he was.
Have the guts to stand up and put your hand up and say, I may have a problem. Have the guts to, to speak to somebody about it. I would never have known until I actually spoke up and said, I've got anxiety. So it's very common, and there's no shame in coming out and asking for help.